Next time you're near a harbor, take a closer look at the ship sitting in the water. Not the hull, not the deck, the part just below the waterline. Almost every large vessel on the planet has it painted the same bold, unmistakable color. Red, not navy blue, not black. Red, and it's not a coincidence. It's not branding, it's not decoration. The story behind that color goes back centuries, and it involves wood-eating creatures, a chemical accident, and a maritime tradition so deeply embedded that even modern engineering hasn't managed to shake it. Let's start at the beginning. Before steel and engines, ships were made of wood, and wood, once it hit the ocean, became a target. Algae would coat the hull within weeks. Barnacles would cluster by the thousands. And then there was the shipworm. Not actually a worm, but a burrowing mollusk that drilled straight through timber like it wasn't even there. This process, known as biofouling, was one of the most serious threats a vessel could face. It wasn't just about aesthetics. A hull covered in marine growth became dramatically heavier and created enormous drag through the water. Ships affected badly enough could lose nearly half their speed. In an era where speed determined whether you won a naval engagement or a trade route, that was catastrophic. Sailors and shipbuilders were desperate for a solution. By the late 1700s, they found one. Thin sheets of copper were fastened directly to the wooden hulls of ships. Copper, when exposed to seawater, produces compounds that are toxic to marine organisms. Barnacles couldn't attach. Shipworms couldn't penetrate. The hull stayed clean, the ship stayed fast. Then came the industrial era, and with it, iron and steel hulls, which immediately created a new problem. You can't bond copper sheets directly to iron in salt water. The two metals together create a galvanic reaction, essentially turning the hull into a battery, and the iron corrodes rapidly. Copper sheets were out, so engineers went in a different direction. They developed anti-fouling paint, a coating that could be applied like any other paint but still carried the biocidal properties of copper. The active ingredient they used was copper oxide, and copper oxide is naturally a deep, rusty red. That's it. That's where the color comes from. Not a design decision, not a symbol, just the natural color of the chemistry that was keeping ships alive. Today, anti-fouling technology has moved far beyond those early formulas. Modern coatings are more effective, more environmentally controlled, and can be manufactured in virtually any color. There is no technical reason ships couldn't have blue, black, or green bottoms. And yet the red remains. Some of it is tradition. Maritime culture has always carried a strong respect for the practices that kept sailors alive, and changing the color of something that works feels unnecessary at best and tempting fate at worst. But there's also a genuinely practical reason that keeps the red relevant. That sharp contrast between the upper hull and the red lower section creates a clear visual reference line along the side of the ship. It makes it easy to monitor how deep the vessel is sitting in the water, which directly relates to the plimsoll line, the set of official load markings that indicate whether a ship is carrying a safe amount of cargo or is dangerously overloaded. So that red stripe is doing two jobs simultaneously, protecting the hull from the ocean, and telling anyone watching from the dock exactly how much the ship is carrying. 300 years of engineering, chemistry, and hard-won maritime experience, all visible in a single band of paint just below the waterline. If this gave you a new way to look at ships, hit like and subscribe for more stories about the engineering and history hiding in everyday things.